When the hell did Cartel get choppers? Hold on. The Cartel busting out the helicopter. Hold on.
That was the moment Mexican special forces stormed the skies, wiping out multiple Sinaloa cartel hitmen in a wave of airstrikes that hit cartel
Airstrikes. They got kill streaks like it's Call of Duty.
To Apatzingan and deep into Durango.
They taking their drugs serious. Do y'all see that shit?
Weeks after locals reported a surge in kidnapping.
Hey, if you see your homie like this, it's over with. Kiss that nigga goodbye. It's over with. Don't even pay the ransom, bro. It's over with.
Extortion and daylight gunfights between rival cartels.
They got GoPros? Oh, they first person with it. The fact that they putting this video out is crazy. They really murking folks and putting it out.
But Los Chapitos were not the only targets of this operation. Multiple CJNG leaders were also eliminated. In one particularly shocking incident, a notorious cartel leader was killed right on his king-size bed. Now, let's take you inside and show you exactly how these attacks unfolded.
We're now getting new footage from Mexico showing the ongoing airstrikes targeting the CJNG and Sinaloa cartels. Military helicopters and aircraft have been carrying out operations across several states in what officials describe as a sustained campaign to break up the cartel's strongholds. This all happened in Nuevo Laredo, Tamaulipas, where military units were on patrol when a convoy of suspected
and them cartels wasn't ready for them helicopters and them gunners on that bitch. I'm trying to tell you, they ain't ready for that one.
Traffickers suddenly appeared, and that's when the shootout began.
They gonna move a little different.
The fire was intense and went on for several minutes.
In the late hours on Monday, the quiet suburban streets near the capital in Mexico's Sinaloa state were rocked by the crackle of gunfire. A major shootout took place between the Mexican army and one of the most deadly drug gangs in the world, the Sinaloa Cartel.
Much of it perpetrated by an armed group called the New Generation Jalisco Cartel. They posted this video allegedly showing them capturing a group of kidnappers.
They got grenade launchers, all type of what?
New Generation Cartel's April 6th attack was a military-style ambush that killed 15 Jalisco State Police.
Las huellas del enfrentamiento entre la Perris y las autoridades federales quedan marcadas en la fachada al lado de una propaganda de la elección del Poder Judicial. Marcas similares a las.
Hey, how much is Mexico paying their soldiers, bro? Because you cannot pay me enough to be out here doing this. No, I better get an NBA contract.
Panic swept through a small community just south of Culiacan.
Let me keep some drugs or something, you know. Let me do something.
Terrified by bursts of gunfire echoing through their streets. It turned out that Los Chapitos hitmen armed with military-grade weapons had stormed the town, threatening residents and kidnapping people at random.
By our count, 6 vehicles are in play by the kidnapped team. Notice the deployment of the
Damn,
suspect
they
in the bottom
did.
right of the picture, who shoulders a heavy weapon and points it at the victim. Once the victim is grabbed and moved into the truck, the kidnapped team appears to be disjointed and clumsy. Compared to their quick and orderly arrival, the team is much less orderly and slow to depart. The kidnapped team rolled in heavy with multiple vehicles and shoulder weapons, so we believe this operation may have occurred on another gang's turf. The overwhelming firepower seems to indicate the kidnapped team may have been expecting a fight.
That same afternoon, state police units and the military rolled into the community, but they already knew they were walking into a trap. Gunmen had positioned themselves across nearby hills, ready to ambush any patrol that showed up. So, the police called in backup, and within minutes, the sound of a Black Hawk helicopter filled the sky. As the chopper flew over the communities of Las Mesas,
this ain't what you want.
spotted a
This ain't what you
on the
want.
dirt road below, And that's when the minigun came alive.
You ain't even gotta shoot that minigun at me. Just flash it and I'll go back home. I'll go back home and take a nap. I promise. I'll put the gang life down at that point.
A storm of bullets ripped through the truck until it stopped dead on the road. The entire confrontation lasted only a few minutes, and by the time the dust settled,
Yeah, I bet it did.
the soldiers recovered multiple assault rifles, grenades, and cartel-branded bulletproof vests. It took 28 hours before families were allowed near the scene to identify their relatives. But while Sinaloa was still reeling from that operation, the same helicopters were already being deployed hundreds of miles away, this time deep in the mountains of Michoacan. Early one morning in late September, the first reports of gunfire came in. Locals in Apatzingan heard heavy weapons echoing through the hills, and within minutes, the sounds drew closer to their homes. Here's footage of school children ducking for cover inside their classroom during an active shooting incident. In another shocking event, cartel members stormed a local OXXO store and set it on fire while children could be heard screaming in the background.
Damn, the whole gas station, brother? With the kids inside. Damn.
Authorities later confirmed that two criminal factions were clashing for control of rural routes used to move drugs, weapons, and cash, the same routes CJNG had been trying to dominate for months. But the violence spread quickly. From the mountain areas of Alcalde, Las Bateas, El Tepetate, and Los Charcos, gunmen launched ambushes with 50 caliber rifles and
I was finna say, that's a damn 50 cal.
So intense that the Army and National Guard had no choice but to send reinforcements. When the chopper opened fire, people ran inside their homes, ducking for cover while trying to record bursts of gunfire, lighting up a red cartel van.
Worry about the wrong shit. They worry about the wrong shit. If it's a war outside my window, man, I'm in the bathtub like these. Or I'm getting strapped. It's one of this, no other option. I'm not recording. What? What do I get from that? I'ma quit recording. Go grab this. Go grab that
By that
thing.
evening, the operation was over. Two cartel members were dead, and an armored truck belonging to CJNG was destroyed. But even though the soldiers managed to secure the area, locals already knew peace would only last a few days. Because in Michoacan, cartels don't surrender, they regroup. And that's exactly what happened. In the following weeks, new convoys rolled in, more checkpoints.
I was just finna say, it's like these folks are respawning. Like, yo, I promise you, you could get a cartel member faster than you could get an army nigga. You gotta train him. He gotta go to school. He gotta sign up and do all. Man, they just come on. Vamonos.
And residents once again started paying fees just to move through their own communities. The tension reached its peak the following week after footage surfaced, showing cartel hitmen shooting up the home of a former mayor.
Mm-mm. 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 I'm cool. I'm cool on that. Yeah. Wherever he moves to after this, I cannot be his neighbor. No, sir.
So, the Black Hawk was sent in
Lit.
again.
It's
It was around 10
real.
o'clock this
Oh.
morning when this military helicopter appeared over the area and opened fire on the hills where cartel gunmen had taken cover. By the end of the operation, officials with the state attorney's office confirmed that at least 7 suspected members were killed, while 5 others were wounded and taken into custody.
In the following weeks, residents of this area of Michoacan finally slept with both eyes closed. But that was when chaos exploded in the mountains of Durango. For months, locals of Tamazula had been living under the shadow of armed men who controlled the roads, the towns, and even the mayors. These criminals weren't just running drugs. They were taxing farmers and extorting anyone who stood in their way.
They levy taxes on the country's avocado growers. They also seek to control commodity prices through price manipulation. According to estimates,
Got their
the
hand
cartels
in
put a tax of about
everything.
$50 per hectare per month.
And with no police presence strong enough to stop them, people had no choice but to stay silent. That changed when a convoy of the National Guard entered the region, escorted by another Black Hawk helicopter. By that evening, ground troops were already clashing with cartel gunmen in multiple locations. After confirming the location of a cartel safe house, the helicopter moved in, and the minigun roared through the dark.
The shootout ended in just a few minutes, and by sunrise, the military had full control of the area. Authorities didn't say how many were killed or arrested, but local reports show the cartel safe house was completely destroyed and dozens of cartel hitmen were captured alive. Soldiers stayed on site for hours, clearing debris and securing what was left of the compound.
Just weeks after that strike, another mission was underway, but this time, the target was one man, a high-ranking member of the Los Chapitos faction of the Sinaloa cartel. His name was Jorge Humberto Figueroa Benitez, known within the cartel as
Folks got 4 last names. Hold on. Do your homework on 4 last names.
El Paris, or L-27. He controlled a network of
Yeah,
armed
Mr.
men spread
27.
across
That's what you
Navalato,
is.
Angostura, and Mocorito, areas that had seen months of battles between factions loyal to the Chapitos and to El Mayo. This was the same man who reportedly led the violent 2019 attack against Mexican forces following the arrest of one of El Chapo's sons, Ovidio Guzman.
Take a look
Oh, I
at
heard
this
about
video
that
here.
one, though.
Parts of Culiacan have been besieged.
They tore the whole
cartel
city
burning
up.
vehicles there and setting roadblocks in an apparent effort to intercept Guzman. They even attacked the city's main airport after a bullet struck an Air Mexico plane. Passengers took cover on board.
Humberto was also implicated in the 2024 kidnapping of Ismael El Mayo Zambada by one of El Chapo's sons. According to reports, El Paris was one of the Los Chapitos hitmen who restrained El Mayo and forced him onto a private jet that later delivered him to U.S. authorities in El Paso. Just a few months after El Mayo's arrest, El Paris met his own end when the Army and Navy locked onto his location and launched a coordinated attack to capture him. But the operation turned deadly after Humberto's bodyguards opened fire on the soldiers as they approached. For several minutes, the entire area was engulfed in gunfire, and when the dust settled, Humberto was found dead on his king-size bed next to his assault rifle. That's another cartel leader eliminated, but there are still hundreds more like him out there. And that brings us to the question, how many more cartel leaders will the soldiers have to kill to bring the war to an end? Please.
Unlimited.